During this period of lockdown, we have been talking about how does one express personal leadership at a time of a public crisis. A lot of things that we discussed and learned, and in this concluding and final session, I would like to speak a little bit about how does actions look like from a person who's evolving, a person who understands that his life is not just for him alone, but for the service of others. We spoke about how the self, the others, and the actions that connect the self to the others is very important, and that's what leadership is all about. Now, we also spoke about how we got to keep constantly looking at expanding our capabilities, our skill sets in the space of the physical, the body, in the space of the intellectual or the cognitive expansion. We also spoke about how do we grow emotionally and then spiritually. Now, how does this look like as we evolve and grow in these domains? How will we be different? How will our leadership look different from what it was before all this to after all this? Now, this period of lockdown and the situation of the coronavirus gives us exactly the opportunity not just to dive within ourselves, to look deep within ourselves and evolve ourselves, begin the practice to evolve. I know it's not going to happen in 2, 3, 4 weeks, but it's going to be a lifelong practice. But as you evolve, people are going to ask you, how is it different from what it was before? And before even people ask you, you'll also be surprised that people actually tell you that there's something different about you. People who have known you for long will come up and tell you, hey, this looks different. Your thinking is different. What you're saying is different. What is this real difference? And how do those qualities manifest itself? I think 8 fascinating qualities evolve as you evolve from your deep within yourself. These are essentially spiritual qualities, but what else is leadership if it is not a life of spirituality? Now, leadership is intense exploration of the self, the discovery of the inner self in the service of the outer world outside. So beautiful the way Swami Vivekananda, the great saint, mentioned. He said life should be all about understanding and the conquest of the internal nature as much as it is about the external nature. And that is possibly the most beautiful way in which we can express leadership. These 8 qualities that evolve are: the first quality is compassion. Compassion is not empathy. Compassion is about action. It's about action born out of understanding the feelings of the other, understanding what the other person needs, and driven by the love for the other. Second quality is about faith and hope. These are the days when we need extraordinary faith, faith in ourselves, faith in people around us, faith in the system, faith in all those whom we think could respond to this crisis, but most importantly, faith within ourselves. And hope that tomorrow is going to be better than what it is today. We all need to understand that mental health and preservation of mental health is as critical as anything else. And for this to happen, we need to have hope. The third quality, which also helps us to sustain this mental health that I spoke about, is the spirit of positivism. It's an extraordinary conceptual thinking in the Hindu way of life. Is we speak about satsanga or just good company. We all can be positive emotional activators. Thinking positive releases extremely good hormones like oxytocin, as much as your negative thinking can release cortisol and keep adding on to your micro stress. But as you practice this discipline I've been talking about, you will actually manifest that positivism that we need. The fourth quality would be sense of humor. We start becoming more jovial, more joyous, and we laugh a lot more. We don't laugh at others, but we learn to laugh with others, and that's so important in the pursuit of leadership. The fifth quality is practicing the spirit of self-enquiry. Now, spirituality to me is not sitting in a cave somewhere in the Himalayas and meditating, but it's about living in society and understanding that we constantly have to practice the spirit of self-enquiry. Simple questions like, who am I? Why am I born? What am I doing here? Why is this happening around me? What can I do to make this suffering get alleviated? Or what can I contribute to the benefit of this world? Simple existential questions, and practicing it is spirituality, and that's the spirit of self-enquiry. And we'll keep increasing this. Course correction and improving ourselves and sticking to a life of values is easily doable only when you practice self-enquiry. The next thing is spirit of service. Now, service is not helping others. Now, that's the beauty of the way of Indian thinking. Helping is a concept which is transactional. I am doing something for you. There's the I and the other, which is separated. But in service, there's a divine quality. Service is something the way Swami Ramakrishna explained. He said, the knowledge of God should be to the service of man. Shivagnani Jiva Seva. Now, what does it actually translate as? It just means that when we serve somebody else, we do it non transactionally with no expectation of anything in return, but looking at the divinity, the divine principle in the other. And if you believe in the Advaitic sense of oneness, where the divinity inside me is the same inside you, and that is the highest expression of service. The next quality is fearlessness. It's a very strong Vedic message that Swami Vivekananda kept repeating. He said, Abhihi, Abhihi, Abhihi. Fearlessness is not just absence of fear or courage to negotiate something which you're afraid of. Fearlessness is about transcending the concept of fear itself. That's exactly what we need in today's world, the challenge that we're all facing with the coronavirus. And finally, what we need is mindfulness. Are we mindfully living our lives? Are we practicing the mindfulness to understand? Are we compassionate? Are we driven with faith and hope? Do we practice sense of humor? Are we positive? Are we practicing the sense of self-enquiry? Are we serving people without any transactional expectation of something in return? And that's the mindfulness we need to do. And the Buddhist expression of mindfulness, that intense self-awareness, is a high expression of leadership. And these 8 qualities will start flowering out. And as we start practicing the different things that I've been speaking about, you will notice that this becomes part of the way we live, it becomes part of our DNA, and that is real leadership. I wish you all very well as you start your journey and continue your journey in the space of living your life for the benefit of others, an expression of real leadership.